Hello, Internet, and welcome back to Antiheroes Anonymous, or welcome for the first time if it's your first time joining us. I'm Ethan, and I'm the Dungeon Master for this. It's been a while since I said the whole thing.
Yeah.
I'm Ethan, and I'm the Dungeon Master for this 5th edition Dungeons and Dragons show! And why don't you guys go ahead and introduce your characters?
Hi, I'm Nick. I play Thaddeus Hammerlock, the human. It's been a while, but it's been like less than a week. I play
We didn't
Thaddeus
do this
Hammerlock,
part
the
last
human vengeance paladin.
Yeah, we didn't do this part last
Never
week.
did.
We did.
I'm Kay. I play Harmony, who is the Tiefling Wild Magic Sorcerer.
And I'm Melissa, and I play Mara, who is a human rogue swashbuckler.
I'm Zach, and I play Zant, who is a human fighter ranger.
No longer Warforged.
Should I describe that for the first
No,
few?
it's fine.
Or not? Okay.
So, a couple of announcements, a recap, and then we'll get straight into things. We premiere our episodes on YouTube every Monday at 7 p.m. Pacific Time. Throughout the show, we use a variety of custom items as well as a custom wild magic table, so be aware of that as you're watching. Our music comes from BattleBards, TabletopAudio, and Incompetech, so if you're interested in any of that, you can check it out there. And then our character portraits on the info cards, which you can see actually for the first time, Zant's image is popping up there, because I forgot it last time. Those were done by an artist named Carrie Peach, who goes by @CarrieDraws on Twitter. Then, if you want more information about what we are doing, when we're doing it, etc., you can follow us on Twitter @AntiheroesAnon. Other than that, we just hope you enjoy the show and share with your friends if you do enjoy. So, a quick recap. It has been 5 years since the Antiheroes defeated the Great Serpent Orochi and freed the Elderhaven Reaches from her grasp. Harmony's mother, then, out of the blue, showed up and abruptly came back into her life carrying a haunted doll associated with the night hag Mother Midnight, otherwise known as Malagard, the Hag Countess. Thaddeus, meanwhile, returned home alongside the now human Zant on board Mara's ship, the Drowning Kiss, after receiving news that his father had passed away. Harmony then teleported herself and her mother to the Drowning Kiss, and the whole crew then sailed to Ferindel, where they, the group set out to do some downtime activities, but Thaddeus had to stay behind for a little while to attend the reading of Lucavis Hammerlock's will, during which he discovered that the will had been amended some years ago such that his younger brother Gavin had precedence to inherit the Duke's title. And so, having snatched that title, we ended last week's session with Gavin sort of giving a smug and triumphant look over in Thaddeus's direction before accepting the title of Duke Hammerlock. And Thaddeus, unless you had something you wanted to do in that scene specifically, I think we'll pick up with maybe the group of you regrouping and sort of talking about what you want to get up to while you're in the city, waiting the week before Lucavis Hammerlock's funeral.
Okay.
Did you have one?
I think the only thing that I would have wanted to do in that scene would be to like get up and go give Gavin a hug and say, I know that you'll be a very effective dude.
Okay. When you get up,
You know you'll be what?
A very effective dude.
Okay.
when you give him a hug, he's like rigid, like stiff as a board.
Even after 5 years?
Yeah, even after 5 years, he warmed up a little. That is to say, he can like eat at the same dinner table with Thaddeus.
That's a big step forward.
But he's still very, abrasive, we'll say. So yeah, he's like stiff as a board as you say that, and when after you've said that to him, he just kind of, pulls back from the hug, looks at you and says, "Well, yes, of course I will. That's why the title was given to me." And you can see in his eyes, like, without even rolling an insight check or anything like that he's a little bit thrown off by the hug and the immediate congratulations. And he just kind of like pulls back and lets the lawyer proceed with the rest of it.
And the rest of it goes on.
Meanwhile, when you return to your seat, you can see that Astrid is giving you like almost like a mix of worry and I guess it's sort of just like an anxious look as you sit down with like one eyebrow raised, looking for any sign of how you truly feel about this. But yeah, then eventually at some
Aster's
point,
gonna roll an insight check against Thaddeus.
I don't think so. I think we can just sort of end that scene there,
Damn.
and then the group of you regroup at
I
some
wanna know.
point
Okay.
after the reading of the will, and I will leave the floor to you.
Okay. So I'm guessing we're just in the waiting room, like
Yeah.
chilling and.
Was this the same
or
day?
no, actually
or was
we
this another
left,
day?
didn't we?
Oh yeah, you all
We
you all
did
left.
leave.
Because
They
we were
ready
gonna
to
be
rush
like, you
us.
take care of your shit, we'll take
Yeah,
care of our
yeah.
shit. Right?
Yeah.
That's right.
So are we regrouping after to kind of hear how it went?
Yeah,
Okay.
why not?
Well, I'll fill you in on. Did I inherit
Like in a
anything?
pub.
You
I
have
mean, part of the
continued
fortune.
access to
Yeah.
the fortunes of House Hammerlock. There was nothing explicitly stated. Really, the only thing that was explicitly stated, since pretty much everything, like the important thing was the seat of the dukedom, which passed to Gavin. The only thing that was explicitly stated was that Muriel gets to run the countryside estate.
Okay. So yeah, I'll fill y'all all in on what happened and how it was like not exactly what I was expecting, but I'm fine with it.
What an ass. You know, I never liked your brother.
I know.
I don't think anybody had
He
positive
doesn't.
feelings.
He doesn't have a lot of friends.
No wonder.
That's a very kind way of putting it. Have you gone soft since I last saw
He's a
you?
real clown wind if I ever heard.
What have I done?
Couldn't help myself. Sorry.
You know, you just. I spent a lot of time away from my family, and these past few years I spent more time with them. And I've been trying to be a better brother to him.
And has he been appreciative of that?
Not really.
He's a lost cause. Is he still into that weird shit?
I think so.
I mean,
I mean-
remember when we found that weird thing under his bed?
Well, he's a duke now. He doesn't need friends. He's a duke now.
The fact that he.
I think
Maybe
he needs
he's-
them more than ever
Maybe
now.
he's actually making friends.
I don't. Well, he will be making friends soon.
Making friends.
I'm going to be spending the week hosting a series of balls and dinner parties in his honor
Gross.
to kind of show him off to the nobility of Ferindel.
And are you inviting a certain princess we all know to these balls?
I imagine that she'll appear at some of them.
Nick, with your new feet, Thaddeus would know that it would be very rude not to.
Yeah.
What's your new feat?
Diplomat.
Oh.
I sometimes will get advice from the DM on how to navigate difficult social situations.
That's amazing.
It's so cool.
Oh my god.
Yeah. So she'll be there
Are we invited to any of them?
if you want to come. I know that they're not exactly all you're seeing, but if there's a particular one, or if you're free one night, send word to me through Valerie, and you'll be invited.
Like I need Valerie to send word to you.
That's true.
Okay.
Alright. Well, I'm happy if you're happy, I guess.
I took a lot from him, and I feel like I owe him something back.
He took a lot from us too.
Not that much.
Can I roll insight on Thaddeus to see if he's hiding any feelings?
Sure.
Okay.
I don't have
Actually-
another die. I need to borrow a die.
Oh, do you want? Here, you can have these today.
Thank you.
Okay. So that's a 26.
Pretty good. Can I beat that? I don't think I can beat that. My deception is only +5, so yeah. I'm not even gonna roll. Like a 20 would become a 25, and you'd still.
Okay.
Thaddeus is like trying to convince himself as much as all of you, but he has some reservations about this.
Okay.
Like the fact that why did Lucavius all of a sudden just a few years ago decide to change the order? Like how did my dad die? Like reservations like that. That
Yeah.
like I don't really want to accuse Gavin of in front of other people, but I can't really shake either.
Okay. So I think Zam would put a hand on Thaddeus' shoulder and say, "Well, just let us know if you need anything, okay?"
Will do.
And then, so we were heading off to do
Yeah.
various things.
I wanted to check to see if seals set their shop back
I
up.
want to do that too.
Yeah. Want to come with me?
Yes, as well as other things.
Mm.
So, are you going to be busy this whole week with?
My downtime activity is high-class carousing.
And that's the only thing you're able to
Yeah.
do. Okay, I see. So then I'll handle the research then, like I said I would.
Yeah.
Okay, that's fine.
That's why I asked you, because I knew
Yep.
that if you wanted to do something else, I was like willing to do that, because otherwise I was just going to be going to a lot of fancy parties.
But yeah, then Ethan and I chatted briefly,
Like you have
and I just had
5
basically
years.
2 things that I wanted to do. One for Thaddeus and one for myself.
Okay.
I'm just gonna split it. So, okay, yeah. So
How about you, Mara?
I
Do
think
I-
I'm gonna head down to the lower level and check with my contacts
follow
there.
those rats.
Haven't been in a while. I'm sure Pinky'd like to be let loose.
When Mara goes down to the Undercity area of the city, does she just like let Pinky have free reign? Okay, she just lets him go. All right, good to know.
Oh, maybe that was a mistake.
It's just important for
It
my
is.
reference for the future.
Okay.
Yeah, it won't be.
Okay.
Sometimes when you go down to the Undercity in recent years, and you try to follow the rats to the Undercity Sisters' secret hideout, you notice, and perhaps it's just a figment of your imagination, but you do notice some of the rats that scurry away from you as you approach seem to have gnawed-off brain cavities, as if Pinky is no longer unique in the city.
Oh. Pinky, you naughty boy.
Pinky having little pinkies.
Or there was always more.
Okay, the other thing that I'll mention here is that Valiance, after the initial thing where you kind of departed from House Hammerlock, and we're going to go out and do some initial walking around the city while Thaddeus attended to the will, Valiance sort of disappeared and didn't come back. So you don't really know where she is for now.
I'm okay with that. I am okay with that.
Does anyone...
You might not see her again.
I'm okay with that. I can find her if I have to find her.
Does anyone have a particular desire to go first for downtime stuff?
I think, well, I know we're going together.
Yeah, my downtime depends on
Okay.
this
Yeah,
kind of
one of my
scene,
things
so
does
let's
too,
start
so-
with that, and then we can figure out.
So do you guys want to get Valerie to drive you? Do you want to walk up to the third layer of the city? Or do you want to just sort of get a taxi?
I don't like Valerie, so let's get a taxi.
Sure.
Alright.
You've got money, right?
I have the
Yeah.
money.
It's easy enough to flag down a taxi, and you hop in the back seat, and there is a gnomish driver who is sort of sitting up on a booster seat type thing, and they have a contraption attached to their feet to reach the pedals that's sort of like extending their feet.
Great.
And they drive you up the ramps and to the third layer of this multi-tiered city. And they take you to the, let's see, which, it's number 24 on my map. They take you to the northern quadrant of the city, which is near, it's pretty darn close to one of the towers that once housed the Assembly of Eight, the 8 wizards who were sort of counselors for the ruling caste of the city. Sort of nestled in that tower's shadow is where you know Cial's shop to be. And the taxi pulls out up front, you get out, and you see where Cial's shop was previously known to reside is a haberdashery, just a hat shop. And there is no sign of Cial's franchise whatsoever.
I'm gonna cast Detect Magic.
Okay.
Good call, probably.
The arcane vision takes your eyes, and you can see the blips of magic on Hunter and yourself. When you look down, you see the Chaos Amulet, you see Hunter's bowstring are
Sorry,
all
who's-
glowing with magic. Huh?
Who's?
Sorry. This is gonna happen a lot. Xanth's bowstring.
Oh, that's who we're talking about.
We
Like,
didn't
who's
even-
that? Who is that?
That's gonna happen a lot.
Yeah, it's alright.
But when you turn your gaze towards the storefront, there is no sign of magic. You can just kind of see inside there's a human and maybe a half elf. It's kind of hard to tell because they've got long hair, but sort of more fine features that seem to be bustling about the shop, taking measurements of people's heads and things like that.
We could do the sending, and do a review sending, and
Yeah, I mean, eventually I'll do that. I was just kind of hoping they'd be here,
me too.
Oh well.
Are there other magic shops in the capital?
Not to your knowledge. You could search for one though.
Okay.
Did you want to do
If
shopping?
yeah, I do. So if we hailed a taxi and asked them, maybe.
Yeah.
'Cause, I mean, they should have pretty well.
Did you want to have the taxi sort of loitering there, waiting for you?
Yeah,
Okay.
sure.
So you hop back in the
I
taxi.
mean, it wouldn't take very long for us to be like, cast X magic, like, this is weird, walk
Yeah.
back in the taxi.
You hop back in and sort of like ask the driver if there's any magic item shops around, and he sort of turns around and goes, "No, there used to be one here, but it closed up a few years ago. I think it was the only one in town. Nowadays, the only magic items in town are the prized possessions of nobles and such.
Okay.
Now, if you're looking to buy, I mean, some of those nobles might sell to you, but I mean, they might cost a pretty penny."
Yeah, but they probably don't have like an inventory to look at. They probably just have.
That's alright.
Okay.
I guess we're off to the library then, huh?
Yeah. So what are our research options for?
You guys might not know, but the cab driver is happy to inform you.
Yeah.
Uh,
I guess that was kind of directed at him.
There was always sort of a library system within the city, but it was greatly expanded 5 years ago when the Assembly of Eight sort of met their demise, and their towers were cleaned out. And now
What was his
all
name,
of
guy?
their knowledge was sort of added to the library system, which is under the control of the Church of Ayun,
Of course it
a
is.
goddess of knowledge, basically.
Okay, and that's part of that same pantheon. That okay. Even though it doesn't have that naming convention.
No.
They're
Ayun's a
different.
different god.
Yeah,
Okay.
It's not part of the
not one of those.
Moon Sisters.
Oh, okay. That's
Oh,
what I was-
yeah, not
that's what I
that,
was
not part
wondering.
of that.
That's what I was asking. Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't know, but it's in the same district or something, or is it?
If you wanted to go to the temple, it is in the same district as the other temples. The Temple of Eight Faces, which is the temple to
Okay.
Thaddeus's pantheon.
Okay. But then the library is somewhere
The
else.
library, basically, they've set up like walkways between all of the 8 towers, and now the 8 towers themselves serve as sort of this 8-spired library.
Oh,
Wow.
wow, interesting. Okay.
But yeah, you guys can go there, and you have plenty of favor with high powers within the city. So while others might not be able to get access to the sort of arcane knowledge you'll be researching, it is open season for the group of you. So the way that research works is it takes a week of downtime, and no matter how you do it, it's going to take a little bit of money just for getting people to help you and materials for writing down notes and things like that. But you can put more and more money into it to increase your modifier to your intelligence check at the end of the week. So
Intelligence, huh?
it starts out at 50 gold pieces. That allows you to make the roll, and then you can add on 100 gold for an additional +1 up to 6 times. So from 50 to 650 gold.
I would say we just do 650 if we're spending an entire week doing it.
How much gold do you have?
Over 20,000.
Oh. Well, in that case, I would be happy to borrow 650 gold.
Yeah.
Are you both doing this together?
I'm researching something else.
Oh, you're researching something else.
I'm
So
researching
is this per query or is it okay? So we both have to.
So we both have to spend the 650.
Yes.
Yeah, if we want the full added to the, because I'm researching the unicorn and the hag stuff.
So during this, I would strongly suggest that we would try and maybe find somebody a magic item shop of some kind now.
I will send a message to Cial and see
Yeah.
maybe if they can.
If they have if they can use a different branch, or if they're okay talking to us again or whatever.
Yeah. I
Some
can do that
business
one
partner
night.
they are.
Yeah. Yeah,
Uh,
so on the first night, I'll go ahead and send a message to CL, and I'll tell them, hey, CL, it's Harmony. I'm planning another adventure, and I was wondering if you could hook me up. Where is the best place to meet you to do some shopping?
Very quickly, actually, you get back a response, and CL says, Harmony, it's lovely to hear from you. Well, I'm not in Elendal at the moment. I've sort of pulled out my shops. Not very profitable, you see. Well, you can find me in Sigil. You know what Sigil is? You've been once before.
That hub, yeah, place.
That's the message you get back.
I can't respond to her, though. I don't know how to get there, because teleport doesn't shift between planes.
I know a person who can do it.
I don't know plane shifts. Yeah, I'm not sure. Well,
Oh, yeah.
well,
You're right.
I know where their shop in Sigil is, but I don't know how to get to Sigil.
I mean, I know that I can read the room a little bit, but have you tried thought about asking your mother then? Maybe she has magics that might. Because she found you apparently, right? Somehow.
Yeah.
Just on the spot, right when she heard your name, apparently.
Or
Good point.
could you send Moloch to get stuff you need?
Oh yeah, you
Can
can
I
ask
send
him.
Moloch across planes?
I mean,
You did before.
You can
I
ask. He's
thought.
from a different plane, so maybe he does know.
I don't
yeah,
think
I mean,
I've sent
when
him.
Zant brings that up, you hear him all, because you're kind of in a public place, he doesn't become visible, but you hear him
Yeah.
from your shoulder, because he's kind of always there. He goes,
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I could get into Sigil if I needed to. But, didn't you go there once before?
Yeah, I've been there.
You've been there before. Can you go
Why don't you
there
just go
again?
the same way?
Because she closed that door.
Yeah, it was like a key or something, right?
Yeah, they opened, they had a key, and they were able to open a door on the Drowning Kiss.
Well, then why don't you just get them to open it up again?
Because apparently it was really difficult to
To
keep
get
the
that
key.
specific door or whatever.
Well, it might be
Yeah.
worth asking. I don't know.
Well, I can't
See
send
if-
a message to her today, but I can
Yeah.
send another one tomorrow and ask.
I mean, I feel like the shopping wouldn't take an entire week, though, right? Or what would it take to
It
do
could
the
be
shopping?
an event at the end of the week. We can bring
so-
everybody.
In Sigil, if you manage to get to CL's shop, it would not take a week. You could just sort of
Go there and
peruse
back
much
again.
items.
Yeah.
But it might take you a week to find a way to get there,
Depending
depending on
on-
how things go. The other thing is, you could still do the whole find magic items downtime activity. It would just involve basically putting feelers out and having nobles who hold these magic items put them up for sale, and there's no determination what you might get.
Yeah, I don't really like that idea.
We can invite Sadie and Mara to come with us to Sigil at the end
I
of
think
the
we
week,
should.
once Sadie's done with
Yeah.
all of his schmoozing.
You do remember that Gavin can cast.
You're not here.
I know.
I do remember that,
Okay.
out of
Yeah.
character.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't like that idea.
Yeah, me neither. Bad idea. I'm
Yeah.
just saying, it's the only person I know who can do it.
Yeah.
Plane shift is what it is.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
Yeah, you did it before.
He did it, and he took us to the Feywild, and then his frickin' tuning fork was stolen.
Yep.
Or he orchestrated the
By
fork
himself.
not
Yeah.
stolen.
yeah. He stole his own stuff.
He really got forked.
This is why you're.
All right, so are we making our research rolls? Is that what's happening now?
Yeah, are we? Yeah, I think so.
Is that
we
what you
definitely wanna
decided
do the
you want
research.
to do?
Yeah, and then
Because that's definitely what I'm doing. So
yeah.
can I have 650 gold, please?
Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah, well, that was already established.
Thank
yeah,
you.
We're definitely doing that.
So 1,300 for the pair of you. That's really unlucky.
I'm going to actually
Well, you
roll.
better make some money when you're down to the bottom levels there.
Yeah.
Come on, we're
Do you know I'm going there?
So it's plus.
told us, didn't he?
You told us.
If we
So
max
it's,
it up,
it's
out,
your intelligence modifier plus 6.
so it's an extra 6 on top of this. So
Yep.
plus 8.
And here's the good part. Because you have access to such a well-stocked library, you make the roll on advantage.
Yes.
Whoa!
All right. Well, I've got. We'll do this one.
Hey, that's not
Well, that's not bad. I'm very disappointed in
Yeah.
Percy. So this is plus 8. 24.
24, okay.
It's not a 1.
The one thing I was
okay.
going to say is, if you don't like your roll, you can reroll at advantage and take a complication.
I like a 24 though.
24
I
is
think
pretty
a
good.
24 is
What's the
pretty good.
complication?
Something happens during your week of research that complicates things. Like,
Interesting. I kind of want to do that just to see what it is. But,
Well, you gotta roll yours
what
first.
did you roll?
I haven't rolled yet.
Okay.
I was sort of on the fence with what I was going to do with this magic shop stuff. But
Thank
I
you
will
for
do
reminding me
the
about my jail
advantage
card.
roll, same price. That's a 23.
23. Okay.
Yeah, I'm okay
And you
with
like it?
So here's the thing. I want to know what the complication is, but I don't know if I'll roll better than the
You know,
15.
other people during their downtime might have complications.
Okay,
as well.
alright. So I guess I am happy with the 15.
Okay.
Or 23.
So let's see. Let's start with Harmony. Harmony, your research topic was
Hags, and specifically the magic that allows them to haunt people with stuffed animals.
okay.
But also, like, hags in general, how I can find Mother Midnight, all that good stuff.
Right.
Although I kind of already know that, but yeah.
So, with a 20, you said 24,
Mm-hmm.
you get 3 pieces of lore, which you know to be factually true. These aren't rumors, like, these are truths. There's not much information on stuffed unicorns that haunt people, specifically. But there is lore on hags. So, for example, hags are known to have sort of weird magic, and they use it to create these utterly bizarre and unique magic items that they then use to pursue their very twisted desires. Sometimes you can use sort of normal means to counteract the magic of these items, and other times it takes more specific methods. And by normal means, I mean things like remove curse, dispel magic, things like that. So that's fact number 1. Fact number 2 is more specific to hags itself. So you've come across this when you're delving into there's books on like the Feywild and things like that. When a hag consumes a baby, they steal human or other humanoid babies and consume them. They then give birth to a baby hag. That baby hag, however, seems and appears to be a normal human baby or other humanoid baby until its 13th birthday, at which point its sort of latent evil nature awakens and it goes off to do hag things. However, there are certain babies, seemingly born at random, who grow at an exponential rate after they're reborn as a hag. And those ones develop into exceptionally powerful hags, alternatively called death hags or blood hags. So that's your second bit of lore. And your third bit of lore...
Hags or what?
Blood hag?
Blood hag.
Death hag
Or
death
death
hag, yeah.
Yeah, she got the first one.
Your third bit of lore is that most hags tend to operate independently or in groups of 3, which they call covens. And this is because they believe that the number 3 is exceptionally powerful. And so thus, one of the gravest offenses that a hag can commit in hag culture would be to try and have a coven of more than 3 hags, because 3 is so sacred to them. However, you find a bit of lore about a specific powerful hag named Malagard, who was known for breaking that taboo because she believed that 9, as 3 groups of 3, would be better than 3. And so she strove to try and create this ideal coven of 9 hags. And at one point during her reign as the Hag Countess, on the 5th layer of the 9 Hells, she led one such coven, but it's sort of unclear what happened to her coven after her fall. And those are the 3 bits of lore that you get.
Wow.
Okay.
Yeah, mathematically that doesn't make sense. 9 is better than 3. 9 is greater than 3.
One would think.
9 is the highest one.
It's a pretty high number.
Not Hunter. Zant, you rolled what?
A 23.
23, okay. With a 23, you also get 3 pieces of lore.
Excellent.
And your topic was...
I would also like a complication. I'm sorry. My topic was really for Thaddeus's errand of trying to get more information about the sword and his dream.
Right. So
There's-
he had this dream where he was seeing this.
So I wanted to like identify the sword, get more information about its symbolic meaning to the moon, and basically everything that he told me about his dream.
Okay. I do have some good lore bits here for you then.
Great. I'll take 3.
So you find this in a... I guess maybe Harmony would have come across this and sort of like brought it to your attention while she was researching the Feywild. It's an ancient book about like the history of the Feywild and things like that.
Okay.
So long ago, before the elves even came to the material plane from the Feywild, there were these 8 elven queens who were especially beloved by their people. One among their number was named Inasehe, and she devised a ritual to sort of convert the adoration of the people into new sparks of divinity, and essentially elevate these elves, who were at that point essentially at the level of Archfey, to godhood.
That's what the vampire was trying to do.
Mhm.
We kind of learned all this.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is stuff you already knew.
Okay.
But what you didn't know is that in honor of those deities, the elves created 8 legendary swords, which were said to be lost to time. And each sword sort of represented one of the deities and was passed down through an elven lineage that was sort of responsible for guarding that sword and that faith.
Okay.
The second thing you learn is that these legendary swords that the elves created were actually modeled after the sword wielded by Esanahen, another one of the 8 elven queens, and Thaddeus's patron deity, you would know. Because Esanahen's sword was a beautiful, magnificent, immensely powerful silver blade which shone with the light of the moon itself. And the third fact you learn in your research is that Esanahen once entrusted that sword to an angel in her service, one of her most trusted followers. The angel in question was a devout believer and follower of all of Esanahen's divine judgment and justice, and was charged with monitoring some event called the Blood War.
Mm-hmm.
But the longer she watched, the more frustrated she grew that she couldn't intervene in the Blood War. She was just tasked with watching it.
The goddess couldn't intervene.
The angel.
The angel couldn't intervene. Okay.
And eventually, she decided, in her frustration, to cast her orders aside and wade into the fray herself. The sword of Esanahen was never seen again after that point. And
Okay.
those are the 3 bits of
Did we
lore
get
that
the guardian's name?
yes, it would be in there. That angel's name was Zariel.
How do you spell Zariel?
With an X.
Z-A-R-I-E-L.
What was it?
Z-A-R-I-E-L.
Okay. Interesting.
So those are the things that you glean from your week of research.
Is there a way? Is this up to my own interpretation, or is there like something I can roll to get an interpretation of what I'm reading further, like further insight into this and draw a connection? Because like I think that the dream is calling at the Thaddeus to say we want you to like take up the sword, but
I think at this point it's up to your
okay,
interpretation.
I didn't know if there was
Those are
something.
the facts that you get, and what you do with them is up to you.
Okay. Cool.
We'll discuss it later.
Yep.
Once I'm finished partying.
Do you want to party next, or should we do Mara's?
I'm really excited to find out about Mora's job.
All right. Let me get some Mara music.
No
Mara
research music, but we had Mara music.
Samara.
Oops, that's not the one. Mischief Maker is Mara's track.
Shit.
I wrote this down to show Melissa just because you were explaining things for a while and I was trying to listen at the same time. But I said, I almost said, "What's his face?" when I forgot Alpine's name.
What's his
It's too
name?
bad he
What's
was
his
undead.
Fae? Well, yeah, but you were like, "Oh, the Fae this and Fae that." I'm like, "Oh, what's his Fae?" And I'm like, "Oh no, never mind."
So Mara,
Mm-hmm.
you make your way down to the Undercity Sisterhood, and actually maybe I'll say some mischievous music. Do some more serious music for the moment. You find your way into the underground at a loss for the word,
Undercity
hideout
and-
base of the
mhm.
Undercity Sisterhood, and you meet up with Alyssa, who you maybe haven't seen in a few months since you were last in port.
Uh-huh.
And she greets you when you come in and says, "Oh, well, are you here for? How long are you in town? Do you have time for a job? I have something that's right up your alley."
I've got about a week. I was going to ask you a few questions myself, too, so
Well, I mean, ask
we
away.
consider that quid pro quo.
I'm an open book, even outside of the normal compensation for. Well, I mean, assuming it's something within my power to answer, of course.
Well, I was going to ask you questions if you knew anything. We just got out of this weird meeting. I don't know if you heard of our partner, Thad's father passed away suddenly.
She nods, and she kind of gets like a serious look on her face when you bring up Thaddeus.
So Thad got passed over for the dukedom. Just wondering if you'd heard any vibes around about anything strange going on.
It's actually interesting that's what you bring up, because the job that I have in mind for you revolves around that incident itself. Yes, we are, as an organization, very aware of the recent title shift to Gavin Hammerlock, and, well, I'll just say we're not very happy about it. As an organization, we wanted to see the title pass to Astrid Hammerlock. You may remember that Valerie Nightingale, one of our ranks, is in the service of the Hammerlock family.
I remember.
Well, what you might not know, since this is, well, it's not often discussed, but it is common practice for the Undercity Sisterhood to instill members of the organization within many of the noble houses of the city to exert a controlling influence where we can. And Valerie has served in that position within the Hammerlock house for us for a long time. However, she was well aware of our wishes to see Astrid put in control of the dukedom, and yet, from what we can tell, she did nothing to make that happen. So we are,
Because Gavin is her son.
and Alyssa nods and says, "Exactly. We had hoped that she would be able to put her duty to our organization over her son, but it seems that that was not the case. So, the job that I was thinking for you, since you have, well, next to Valerie, unparalleled access to the family, and since the job itself revolves around Valerie and we obviously can't use her, I would like for you to, should you choose to accept the task, of course, bring to the Sisterhood evidence of that most closely guarded secret, which is Gavin's lineage.
Okay.
And we are, of course, willing to pay you your normal rate for any information you can bring. But the more information you can bring, the more conclusive, the more devastating, should we have to use it, the more money is in it for you.
Okay. Is this something you want just me to do, or shall I enlist aid of the group?
Ideally, it would just be you.
Okay.
I know you have a group of friends who you operate with, but considering the fact that one of them is Mr. Hammerlock himself, it would probably be best if this went under his radar.
Sir Hammerlock! Somebody shouts out somewhere.
Can do.
Claire shouts somewhere.
Clear shouts.
Claire's not
Sir,
happy about it.
He's expecting Mission Impossible music to play when he said, if you choose
So
to accept it.
Your mission was to find proof that
Gavin, Valerie is Gavin's mother, right? I'm assuming.
that's what I thought, but I wanted to make sure I heard
Essentially,
correctly.
that Gavin's claim to nobility is not complete.
Okay. Okay, you have a deal.
All right. I
See
knew we
what I
could
can
count
do.
on you. And she looks very pleased with you accepting the mission. With that, as you sort of take off to begin your investigation, let's talk about how this works. So for the crime downtime activity,
Or work. It's all nice
It's
of a
work,
holder.
yeah.
this one's crime.
Robin
To the
Hood
royal
crime.
maybe.
In order to sort of, set up your
Crime
operation, you have to acquire materials and things like that. So that's going to cost you 25 gold pieces, just to take part in the downtime activity.
Okay.
However, you will then make 3 checks: a stealth check, a thieves' tools check, and a investigation or perception or deception check. Your choice for the last one. You get to set the DC, so it's either 10, 15, 20, or 25. And depending on how many you succeed is the amount of money that you get back, and it'll determine the success of your mission.
Oh, interesting.
Okay, so it was either deception or what?
Perception or investigation.
Exactly.
Oh, perception
Yeah.
or deception.
Right? One of
I
them.
heard-
Perception. No,
I heard-
it's 3 of them.
I heard
It's
Perception
deception,
Yeah, I heard
perception,
stealth, thieves' tools, and either deception or
or investigation
or
or
perception.
okay, so
There's-
that's 3.
there's
Yeah.
3 of them. Yeah,
That's
for the
3.
last one.
Okay. So I think I'll set the DC
You want a reminder of your options?
at.
You can set them at 10, 15, 20, or 25.
And then do something that you're super good at.
And I think
I'm thinking. Go ahead.
you can get advantage on these rolls for
Yeah.
making applications properly.
Yeah, I'm thinking 20 because that'll.
Well, is it for all of them are the same DC,
Mhm.
or do you set them individually?
All of them are the same DC.
All of them are the same. Okay.
So this is gonna be some good evidence.
Yeah. so I'm
To
thinking
put a money value to it, if you succeed all of them on a DC 10 check, you get a measly 50 gold pieces out of it.
Worth it.
If you succeed on a 15 check, 100% success, you get 100 gold. 20, you get 200 gold. And 25, you get 1,000 gold.
Well,
no.
take a look at your
Yeah, look at your
stats
stats
too,
there.
because like some of these things you have double proficiency in, right?
my thieves' tools is a plus 11.
Right.
And you can't roll lower than a.
And for the
10,
things
right?
you're
And
proficient in, you
deception.
can't roll lower than a 10, so that's already a 21.
Oh, that's pretty, yeah, that is pretty
Okay,
So-
so we'll go 25 then.
Okay. And then remember, if you don't like any of your rolls, you can
You're gonna
re-roll
slide
and
it
take a
in.
complication.
Well, you don't get that one though.
I know, but look at it.
Oh, I can see. That. Let me show off a
I
little
know.
bit.
That said, one of
Right.
them is stealth, and I don't think you're proficient in
But you
stealth.
don't have to roll for it either, judging by history.
Oh, she only has to roll for.
No, she does. I'm just making a joke.
Oh,
because
oh,
she's like,
oh,
I don't have to
oh,
roll
oh.
for that. I'm a rogue.
Does she get advantage on stealth checks because of her boots?
I'd say not for this one.
Not for this
If
one?
she's still learning them and not the
I mean, she could
ballet
change out,
slippers
right?
that I.
Okay.
That's true.
But if it doesn't matter regardless, then
But I get, there was one, what is it? It's not panache. There was, anyway.
One of your swashbuckler things.
Yeah, but I don't think it counts for that. Okay, so we'll set it at 25.
Okay. So let's start with the stealth check then.
here we go.
That's the
Reliable
reward.
talent, maybe.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, that's.
Big money, big money.
Okay, where's my stealth? Oh, it's alphabetical now. It's not there. Okay, come on.
If you don't like it, you
So
can
it's
take a
a-
complication.
You
and
could
re-roll.
take a complication and re-roll.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not it. Okay, I will.
Well,
That's the one. Oh.
twice as good though.
Alright.
And this is the
Okay.
one that she doesn't have proficiency on, so she doesn't get.
Nope, I
Right.
don't get the
Yeah.
10.
Okay.
10 total?
No,
No.
it was a 9. That one was a 9.
Okay.
Way short of 25.
Fortunately, that only means that's one failure. You still have 2 opportunities to get successes. So go ahead and then roll your The next check
Thieves'
is
tools
Thieves' Tools.
is a
Yep.
plus.
So you're not as sneaky as you could have been. You may
Fast
have left
as
some
a front
evidence
door.
behind.
That's a 5.
But it's a 10 because
Yeah,
she's
'cause I'm
So then it's a
proficient.
21.
22.
So it's a 21.
21, sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's still a failure.
How many times can I roll for complication?
I mean, one per roll, I guess.
Yeah.
Okay.
Things are getting really complicated over here.
Wow.
So you rolled a 2. What was it?
A 4.
A 5.
5 and
and
a
a
1.
Oh no.
I
Alright,
think you
so
need some new dice. I think those
one
dice
of
are
those
getting,
dice needs to go in the jail.
they are not warmed up yet.
Do you want to roll mine? They're
There's a
mad
lot-
that you
there's a lot of
forgot them
dice
last week.
here.
Man,
I did not expect this to go this way. I was
No.
like, if anyone's got their roll, it's Mara.
I know.
I think the title for this one is Complications.
We'll see. Okay.
Pick
Yeah.
one. Pick one. You have to pick it.
Or one of these. This one was one that you picked a lot as well. If you choose to accept it.
Okay, so.
So then the third one is investigation, perception, or deception.
You can pick whichever one you're best at.
I think perception, right?
I don't know.
Or
Perception is only
Deception.
+3.
and what?
Yeah, so perception is a +8.
Okay.
But I'm proficient, so it's a 10 automatically. Yeah. It's
But-
still not 25.
No.
It's still not 25?
No. She has a
Because
plus
it's
8.
14 plus 8.
Yeah.
Okay.
You chose a
24.
really high
No, 25 is
She
really
was being
high.
greedy.
I was being greedy.
Are you good on complications?
Yes.
Alright. With 0 successes,
Oh.
you are unfortunately found out in the effort. And you end up being fined an amount of gold pieces equal to the profit that you would have gained, so 1,000. And you're jailed for 1 week.
To be fair,
Wait, hold
like
on.
Mara is the Jack Sparrow of this campaign.
Yeah.
She's always been, so I feel like this is very on character for her.
Yeah. She has a week in jail to reflect on.
You guys, Mara doesn't come back, actually, because it's 1 week times 25 GP of the thing, so Mara's in jail for 40 weeks.
Oh my god.
Wait, what? It's 1 week.
1 week times 25 GP of what you would have earned for the profit.
Oh my gosh. Okay. In
Wait, you said
jail
40
for
weeks?
40
Yeah.
weeks.
We may have to do.
You may
some
have to
kind of
break
jail.
Mara out of jail.
Oh, easy.
Oh yeah. That's
Oh,
actually
that
really
was-
Yeah, I can break her out super easy.
Huh.
I have dimension door.
And this is
Yeah,
some
see,
complication
you
that we
have
If
to
I
do
break
that
out
before
though, I
And
can never
that
go
is-
This would be the
back to
first
this
jailbreak that I've done.
In terms of complications,
Second.
Oh yeah, the
I said
complications.
this wouldn't
are
be the first.
Oh,
coming.
yeah.
one of the first complication that happens is that essentially the security around the Hammerlock estate is tripled. So Gavin is basically going around with bodyguards all the time, and there are guards just all over the estate now. That's the first complication. The second complication is when Mara, when you're thrown in prison, you hear a voice from the cell next to you, and you recognize it as the voice says, "Mara, Mara, is that you?" And it's the voice of Alyssa.
Oh no.
How did they get us? How did they get you? They came and they got me as well. How did they find out?
Oh, things did not go well. It's all my fault, Alyssa. I'm sorry.
Well,
I was a little overconfident.
you know that the Undercity
Yeah.
Sisterhood has ways of getting at least me out of here. We'll see if it extends to you.
Oh, I think my friends are planning something.
Just make sure you don't tell them anything, okay?
I won't.
And basically, Alyssa then goes silent to you, even if you should try to speak with her.
Oh boy. This is not how I envisioned.
Mara was the one person I was like, Mara's not going to need any complications.
I
She's got
know.
this.
I mean, you don't even have to roll most of the time, except when you get a 2, a 1, a 4, and a 5.
Or pick a 25 DC check 3 times.
The dice are mad at me for the break, I guess. I don't know.
Oh, maybe, yeah.
Or for forgetting them last week.
Oh,
yeah,
that's
that's true.
it.
Which
We'll
means
get her.
next week.
We'll get
Yeah.
her this
I
time.
might have to buy some new ones.
They're like,
I'm always up for that.
Okay.
all right. Party time.
Yeah.
Celebrate.
So that happened.
I'm having a much better week than you. I mean, I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah.
I'm trying to find some good music for
Classy parties.
classic parties.
Wait, but on things I'm proficient in, I can't lose though. That's my new ability.
You can't roll less than a 10.
Yeah,
so-
but if I fail, I get to re-roll with advantage.
Wait, really?
Wait, what?
But I think that's only fighting
Can I see
though.
Which
I
one are you
have to
looking
look at it.
Which one is it? Is it in here?
It's my new one that I got.
Is it a rogue specific one?
Yeah.
Or is it a... Okay. Hold your horse.
Let's see.
You look for
Rogue-
music
Are you
there,
talking about
and
the
we'll
attack
look
team?
at this.
Is it your elusive ability? Let's see. At the 18th
No,
level, you're.
it's your Master Duelist. I think she's talking about.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, it's only for
Yeah, it's
attack
attack.
rolls.
Rats.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Okay.
All right. Well, I guess I should have expected that maybe. So Mara's in jail for a bit, but Thaddeus, this hasn't reached your ears yet because you are out having the life of the party, enjoying the noble privilege that you have. Maybe this is a good sign. Yeah, this will do. So you set up this series of balls and galas and
Yeah. That's,
soirees to sort of commemorate the occasion of Gavin becoming the Duke Hammerlock.
Well, I want to make sure Runa is at every single one of these.
Oh, okay. Excellent.
That was the
One of the-
series
yeah.
that liked him.
Was that Whitecrest?
Whitecrest.
Yeah.
Whitecrest,
And as luck would have it, the Whitecrest family is in town for the funeral because you remember the patriarch of the family, whose name escapes me.
Father Whitecrest.
Yeah.
Yes, Father Whitecrest. Was a very close friend of the king's. So the entire family is here for the funeral. Tell me a little bit about the parties. What are they like?
I think that the object of them is to they're basically meet and greets for Gavin, who spent all of his time doing his weird research off in his room alone, and doesn't really know the nobility of Ferindel.
Yeah,
And
in
so
more
now-
recent years he's come out a little bit,
Yeah.
but still not enough to get to know everyone, so that makes sense.
Yeah. And so it's kind of they're halfway congratulation parties for Gavin, and halfway kind of hey, these are the people you're going to be working with and dealing with for the rest of your life now that you're Duke.
Okay.
So yeah, I think they're very formal affairs. I don't know if there's a lot of dancing involved because they're more mingling. There's some entertainment, I'm sure, and there's music, and I'm sure some people go off to dance, but they're not balls necessarily.
Alrighty, that all makes sense. In that case, as you put these parties together, you begin to host them. There's a certain amount of money that goes into that, obviously. So to carouse with the upper class, that's a cost of 250 gold pieces for the week.
Okay.
And the way it works is you roll a charisma persuasion check, and based on your results, you gain a number of allied contacts, or technically you can get enemy contacts if you have really poor rolls, but Thaddeus is incapable of getting one of those results.
Okay.
So,
Good.
based on your persuasion.
Okay. Will it be a 12?
Please be a 12 plus.
This is okay. So that's a 14 on.
14. And similar to the others, if you think you can go higher and you want to try, you can
Yeah.
roll again and take a
Is this
complication.
supposed to be persuasion?
Yeah, it's a 3 on die.
Oh.
So I'm
I'm
thinking.
look at your persuasion score. Though.
Yeah, I'm thinking I might take a complication to get an advantage on this roll.
Complications are more exciting.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Okay. What is wrong with us?
Okay, wait,
today?
hang
Was
on.
that not a good roll either?
Because
Better.
Better.
whose dice is this?
Mine. She rolled well on my die though.
Not well enough.
25 DC though. It was above a 10 at least.
I know. I thought I had plus
Final
10
result,
everything
16.
Yeah.
16
to start with.
is enough to bump you up into the next category, though.
Okay.
The category was 16 to 20, gets you 2 allied
Oh,
contacts.
okay. Well, hey, that's not bad.
Worth it. Maybe.
Except one of them's a spy.
So, as a result of these galas, Gavin definitely becomes familiar with more of the nobles, and as part of the specific objective, essentially, under normal circumstances, these allied contacts would be favors that you could call in while within the area of Ferindel. But I think what you could do, should you choose to, is essentially transfer those favors to Gavin, depending if you want to or not. They're your contacts, and you can do what you want with them. But since the purpose was to get Gavin to meet people, I'll leave that up to you.
Okay. I mean, we could call in one of those favors to get us to Sigil.
Oh, that's an interesting thought. If
And
that,
then-
if
and
they
then just
extend
like-
that far, what do you think they would? Do you think they would extend that far to do that?
I mean,
Before
We
you
could
do
try.
that, though,
Mhm.
I feel like I would have spent every night, or at least the next night, sending a message to CL and asking them
Or, like,
about
having a
getting the
conversation.
key.
Or a key to somewhere?
yeah.
A key to somewhere in
That we can
Ferindel that we
access.
can access.
Yeah.
Okay.
Alright, let's do that real quick before you
Because
decide what
that'll
you want to do with it.
that'll
Yes.
determine, yeah,
Yeah, okay. That's a good thought.
So you send your message to Seal.
yes, basically. Hey, CL, I'm in Ferindel. Is there any way that you can get a key to open a door here so we can
Or somewhere
access
that we can return to
Sigil?
quickly. Like if you could teleport, right? To like Redwater or something.
Okay, we had this conversation, then I sent my message.
Sure.
Hey, CL. Is there a way you can get a key to open a door somewhere in Ferindel or Redwater or Ravenmoor?
The response that you get back from Seal after a few moments pause is, well, see, the complication is that I gave away my keys to my shops on Elendil because I wasn't turning a profit. However, I do recall the one time I brought you through the cabinet in your friend's ship. Let me see what I can do to obtain that key again. And that's the message you get back.
Cool.
Oh. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, that would be
Nice.
better than owing or than cashing in a favor right now. If we can find
Yeah.
another
If it
way.
comes back.
Do I hear
Positive.
back from them at all?
Yeah, so a few days later then, there is some radio silence between the two of you, but you feel that familiar ping in the back of your head that you recognize to be Seal. And the message you receive is, I believe that I will be able to procure a key. However, just be prepared for anything when you come through.
What else is new?
Noted. I'll see you in a few days.
And yep, you don't get a message back after that.
Cool.
Sweet.
So, what complications came up during these dinner parties?
I will let you take your pick
Oh,
of two options here.
okay.
You either make a foe of a local noble, in addition to your allied contacts, or you yourself become the target of some embarrassing rumor as a result of something that happens at one of these parties, which I will let you define.
That one's really tempting. Both of them are good. I kind of want this foe though. I know. I'm sorry. Like it's a matter of like
it's your
a
complication.
long-term interesting thing versus like something that's funny for this second.
It's your complication.
I will say though, we're unlikely to spend too much time within Ferindel
That's
for
true.
the rest of the epilogue.
What was the other option? Sorry.
So it would be more like
Foe of a noble,
yeah.
lore for
or
Thaddeus'
one of them's
future.
she
a-
becomes a subject of an embarrassing rumor.
Yeah.
I see, I see.
I guess they both would. Yeah, I'll go with the rumor then.
The rumor
Okay.
could become a long-term thing.
Both of them could be long-term.
Yeah.
Do you want to decide what that rumor is, or do you want to leave
No,
that to me?
no, that's definitely up to you.
Okay.
I don't feel like you should get to decide what your own embarrassing rumors are.
That's true.
that Harmony will tease him about for the rest of his life.
Alright, well, I will have to think about it because I didn't come with one prepared.
I mean, okay, so there's an obvious one that one of his companions is in jail.
Yes.
That's not a
true.
rumor, though.
Well, it might because it's happening at the same time, right? So maybe all the feelers aren't out yet or something.
And like this is how I learned about it.
Yeah, maybe
Yeah.
that's how you learn about it.
So while you're at this the party, you're having a conversation with someone whose name is Baroness Smallport.
Oh
I'm
dear.
sure she has
What
plenty of embarrassing
That's
rumors.
very
Yeah,
unfortunate.
it's a very unfortunate name.
There.
She's responsible for a barony to sort of the northern area that encompasses a very small port city. Hence the name. But it's just a very
Very
unfortunate
functional last name.
It's just
Must have
very
been born
unfortunate
into
that
it.
this is the way that it played out. I didn't think about that when I wrote the name.
That's okay. I did something in my campaign. I'll talk about afterwards. That I give me fun of a lot too. So.
You're having a conversation with her, and she says, "Do we need to pause?"
Yeah.
She says, "Oh, Master Hammerlock, I heard the most entertaining rumor the other day.
I promise it's not true.
Well, my sources are very reliable within the City Watch. I heard that one of your friends and fellow compatriots in saving the world was in jail for 40 weeks, no less."
Mara
And she just starts laughing, and all of the nobles around are turning their ears to hear this and watch for your reaction.
Harmony?
Hey. I was behaving
She goes on, she
myself.
says, "No, a different one. The one with the pantaloons? Or at least that's how she's depicted on all of the wanted posters."
I'm sure this has
I
been
don't know
very
why she's
exaggerated.
Swedish or whatever, but...
And Daddy's like slinks away to somewhere else.
And yeah, you can, as you're slinking away, you can feel the eyes of the entire party upon you. And I think
Don't worry, he's having a much better time than you.
at this point, you've already made 2 good contacts for Gavin and sort of put him in touch with them. The Countess of Mortimer and Earl Dariet, those 2 both. So Gavin sees you slink away, and to your surprise, as you're sort of, kind of recovering from the embarrassment and solitude, Gavin seeks you out, and you can see him approaching. Sort of, you can see like the trepidation in his eyes, but he is resolute that he has something he wants to say to you.
Okay.
And he comes up to you and he says, "I very much appreciate you throwing all of these parties in honor of my ascension to dukedom in Father's stead.
I thought it might do you some good to get out and see your people."
He nods and he says, "It has. It was an excellent move. Brilliant political maneuver I, to be honest, did not expect from you. Is it true about your friend? Is she truly in jail?" Because Gavin at this point probably hasn't heard about it either.
I don't know if it's true, but it would not surprise me.
Well, your embarrassment is my embarrassment at this point, as much as I hate to say it. So I'll see what I can do.
I think Thaddeus starts to protest. It's like, "Don't worry, my other friend is probably on it," but then realizes that sounds terrible.
Can I roll an insight check?
Sure.
Let me pull up.
You want to
yeah,
use those
that's-
dice or these dice?
And these
I'm
are
gonna
my
be
dice for the night.
Be
Okay,
beholden
alright,
to
good luck.
Gavin.
No, maybe.
Well, I got a 12.
Okay. Gavin, let's see, what's his insight bonus?
Still rolling in single digits.
What is it?
Insight is wisdom or intelligence?
Insight is, I think it's wisdom.
Insight is wisdom.
It is wisdom.
Natural 20.
Oh shit.
well,
Yeah.
doesn't matter.
Well.
Gavin peers into your very soul and says, "The rest of your friends are going to break her out, aren't they?"
You may want to act quickly, so that doesn't need to happen.
"I've got this party covered. Thank you for everything you've done so far. Go and stop them."
Alright. And Thaddeus takes his leave.
And the last thing you see of this party before you leave to go try and stop Harmony from breaking Mara out of jail is Gavin sort of re-engaging with conversation. He actually goes and speaks with Signy Whitecrest. Is the person he goes and sort of re-engages with.
Was that your ex-betrothed?
That was my ex, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
For the benefit of viewers who are just
Yeah.
starting with the epilogue, we need to be sure that we explain who people
Yeah.
are.
Yes, Signy Whitecrest is the noble to whom Thaddeus was betrothed, but then broke it off upon returning to Ferindel after defeating Orochi.
And Mara's actually in the brig.
You know, during that conversation, I realized I have wish. I can cast plane shift if I want to. Too.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. I didn't even think about that. Wow.
I
That's
completely.
yeah.
What was this synchronized head explosion?
This is literally why I'm like doing minimal planning for this
That-
campaign, though, because you can do whatever
I
you
didn't
want,
do
and I
that.
can't do
Oh my
anything
god.
about
Oh
it.
my god.
It didn't even occur to me until
Yeah.
you guys were like doing stuff, and I was like, oh, how am I gonna get Mara out of jail? I have wish. I can cast plane shift.
Okay. Eyebrows like fire through the ceiling.
Alright.
Of course you can. Gosh.
God damn.
You were like trying so
I
hard.
know, not to rely on Gavin.
Alright, so Thaddeus.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I go back to the Hemlock State where I find my friends and I'm like, I know what you're up to. I know what's happening. Please don't do this. It's being handled. I have enough criminal friends in the city already.
What are you talking about?
Don't act like you don't know.
Well, I mean, we heard something. We were just gonna check it out.
I know. I'm saying don't. It's being handled.
Well, for the record, we haven't done anything wrong.
No,
Okay. Well, that's good to know.
we've been real good.
We've been very good. We've been. It's just we've just been researching.
Oh.
So
Did you find anything interesting?
I did. I found quite a few things
Oh.
that we can look at later or whatever. But yeah.
Well, I'm sorry I've been a little bit too busy to help.
Yeah, we're actually surprised that you're back so soon, but I guess this is why. So,
We were hoping you wouldn't have to find out about that.
A
Wouldn't
lot
be
of-
the first time I've had to break someone out of
A
jail.
lot of people know about it now.
Oh boy. Well, I didn't tell anyone.
I was gonna say, sounds embarrassing. Ironic.
So the week sort of comes to a close with the group of you having completed your various activities, your research, your carousing, and your crime.
And singled out.
As the week comes to a close, Mara, you are let out of jail well before your 40-week sentence is complete. The guards don't really give you a reason why. They just sort of shuffle you out the door, and Valerie is waiting there with the car ready to drive you. And you're taken back to the Hammerlock Estate, where the group of you sort of regroup in the gardens. And as you're regrouping in the gardens, another person is brought out by Valerie, who apparently showed up on the Hammerlock Estate doorstep, and that's Valiance. And she walks towards the circle of you, sort of sitting out in the gardens or wherever you
Stand
be.
up the minute I see her.
And she makes eye contact with you, and she says, "Harmony, a word, if I might."
Yes, mother.
And she pulls you aside to a more secluded area of the garden. And once she has your undivided attention, she says, "Well, do you have a plan for all of this? For dealing with the unicorn? For getting to the Nine Hells?"
Well, I did, I was doing research this week, and I might have discovered that you can probably get rid of the unicorn thing by, using magic.
Well, that's good news, but I mean, to be honest, I've tried everything within my capacity to get rid of this thing, and nothing has worked.
Whoa, what's within your capacity? What have you tried?
I have blown it up with fire. I have exploded it with concussive sound. I have shot it full of lightning. I have dropped it into a volcano, dropped it from a great height. I have set it in the center of in the epicenter of an earthquake, and toppled buildings on top of it.
It's really a one solution one.
Yes, yes. You can tell why I'm so terrified of her.
Knock the stuffing out of it.
Yeah, that's, all well and good, but did you try actually, using magic to dispel magic or something like that?
Yeah, and her eyebrow goes up, her head tilts to the side, and she says, "No, that's not within my capabilities. Is that something you can do?"
Oh, sure. But, my friend Thaddeus is much better at that kind of thing than me, so I was going to ask him to try a few things.
And seeming very convinced at the mention of, leaving it to Thaddeus, she nods. Yes, he seems very capable.
Why is it that everyone I likes him better? You notice that?
True,
Eli
actually.
and Valiant Saber love you.
Yeah, but Astrid loves
He's
you.
just such a diplomat.
That's true.
And then, yeah, she seems sort of accepting of the idea of letting Thaddeus do it. But as you begin to turn away, she sort of grabs your shoulder and turns you back around and says, you forgot to elaborate on your plans for getting into the Nine Hells and back."
Right, well, about that, it's still kind of a work in progress, but I mean, I've got a few leads that I'm working on. Haven't really fleshed out the details yet, but I'm getting there.
Have you discussed it with your friends?
No. I was going to, but this week's been really busy.
Let's discuss it with your friends. And she just ushers
Right,
you forward.
okay.
Yep.
We're going.
So, while they're having that conversation, Thaddeus and I'm throwing pencils at him. 'Cause, I'm really excited to share my findings with him.
Yeah.
And so I, open up a notebook and then say, well, my interpretation when I read this part is that the Sonhan's telling you to wield the sword at this point.
I think that might be the case because, I used to dream about just the darkness and the moon, but the sword element is comparatively new. So if you're saying that you've got a lead on this sword, that may be that the dream is telling you that I have to wield it against this darkness.
Yeah, and I think that's kind of where it's heading. So I would just share pretty much, I wouldn't leave anything out when I'm sharing the details with him, but let's see. I'm trying to remember all the details myself. So,
Do you need a refresher?
I do. I need a small refresher.
Okay. So the 3 bits of lore that you got were,
So we got,
you found out about the ascension of the elven
you
deities.
know that one.
And the bit of lore you learned from that was that there was a sword crafted for each one of them that was sort of passed down through their most devoted followers and was modeled after this legendary sword wielded by one of the sisters, one of those deities, Asanahan, Thaddeus' deity.
Yep.
The next thing you learned was that the sword was at one point in its history entrusted to an angel, a devout follower of Asanahan, named Zariel, who was tasked with monitoring something called the Blood War. And there's not too much mentioned on what that is. And then Zariel sort of forsake her duty in favor of taking action in the Blood War instead of simply monitoring it, and that's when the sword is lost to history, as Zariel herself kind of disappears from history as well.
Well,
So going to this scene where the Blood War was seems like a pretty good bet to finding it at least.
there are 2 main battlefields in the Blood War, and the Hells are one of them. And of course, if the sword ended up in the Abyss, then we may be out of luck because it's an infinite plane of terror, but the Hells is somewhat more organized. If we can track down Zariel there, we may find the sword in the bargain.
I think that's the best we have to go off of so far. At least that's what I've found. So, yeah, I think that. Well, I think that would probably give us the best course of action right now.
I like it.
Okay.
I like that it dovetails with our other objective.
Yeah.
It's neat on the agenda.
I think at that point is probably when Harmony and Valiant sort of rejoin the group.
I go straight to Xanth and get the unicorn from the bag of holding.
Yeah, and it's like a daily occurrence, so I'm used to this.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
I feel like it's you guys are still talking, and I'm just like silently.
You're like, and you like come over, and I just kind of like do this.
You just hand it to me.
I just like hold it out for you, and then I'm like describing things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I kind of sit there in front of Thaddeus while I'm waiting for you to finish talking, and then I
Oh.
pull it out.
Perfect timing.
Yeah. Yes.
Hold it out. Can you do me a favor?
Maybe. What's the
Well,
favor?
come on. You can trust me. I set the unicorn down in front of you. Can you just, use some of your divine magics to see if you can get rid of whatever magic is haunting this thing?
I think Thaddeus smiled real wide and said, "I wondered when you might ask." And he
Come on, don't make this harder than it
starts
has to
chanting
be.
the remove curse spell on the
Okay.
unicorn.
It's just an action to cast, right? So it's pretty
I
quick.
think so.
So
Let's do it as a ritual.
I can't do it.
Oh, okay.
the prayer completes. There's the familiar sort of flash of energy as the spell takes effect. The unicorn looks as it ever did, just in a complete and utter state of disrepair with fluff pouring out of it,
I'm going
one
to
of the
look
eyes
at
hanging loose.
my mother and say, any chance you can do one of those things you did yesterday, but like much smaller scale?
Please not here.
You don't know
Yeah,
what
you
she
can
did
see, like,
yesterday.
She's pulling out the wand and there's like a bead of orange flying on
Oh
it.
no, I think because I did see the. Wait, no, I didn't.
No,
see
you
that.
didn't. You
I
don't
did
know
see
what
that.
she did
Yeah,
yesterday.
You're right. Yeah.
I mean, like a much smaller scale. Or
Harmony, we already ruined one
You're not
planet.
there.
No, she is.
Yeah,
she's
Oh,
there.
okay.
She's there.
Well, you're in jail.
Do you know if there's?
No, yeah.
Wait. Do you know if there's an open space anywhere within 500 feet of where we are? Like an opener space, or is it just pretty much?
Honestly,
We're in the Noble District, so it's pretty densely packed estates.
I have an idea.
Yeah?
I'm going to use telekinesis, pick up the unicorn, and raise it like 50 feet in the air.
Oh yeah, easy enough.
And go, okay, Mom, target practice.
please don't ruin my mother's garden.
She pulls a wand out of a sheath from her hip and points it at the unicorn
I
floating in
assume
the sky.
it's somewhere where it's clear of all
Mhm.
plants and
Yeah.
stuff. Yeah.
Easy enough, you can make that happen.
Yeah.
She gives a look to Harmony, and then a look to Thaddeus,
Who looks really nervous.
but not getting any explicit, stop doing that. She begins to cast a spell, and a bead of orange light forms on the tip of the wand, erupts forth, and then just explodes in the sky, like you've seen a million times when Harmony casts the fireball spell.
Does she have to roll for wild magic?
She does.
Oh, jeez. One time.
Just to see if it happens, right?
Nope.
Or it actually happens.
But she does get to roll twice and see what happens. So let's find out.
Right.
We've got 57 or 46.
I think I've seen 46 before.
Oh my god.
Oh,
Oh no.
this is too thematic. Okay.
Oh no.
The spell goes off in the sky, and when it clears, there's nothing left. The stuffed animal is gone, obliterated. Like little bits of flaming fluff are all that's left, and they just start raining down on the sky, but they peter out as they hit the ground. However,
Oh no.
in the sky above where the
Oh,
fireball went off,
it's within 5 feet of her.
I know. A bead then begins to form again,
Oh no.
and then slowly descends down until it is right at her feet.
I've
And
never
this
done anything
bead
like that.
is pulsing brighter and brighter. Let's roll initiative real quick.
Oh no.
Initiative?
Yes.
Yep, just to keep track of things.
But what came down?
Another bead of orange.
Oh.
9.
Okay.
Oh.
I need a. I'll just
Card?
keep track of it.
Everyone's beads out.
Where's Bianco in all of this? Is he with me or not? Does he just pal
Hey,
around
You
look.
with me?
guys have your cards?
Zachy, look.
No, mine
Hey!
Okay, then I'll just keep track of it on paper. So Thaddeus had 9.
I have.
I have my
right
cards.
here, right here.
Yeah.
Or
Sure, you can keep track of it, that's fine. I got a 13.
me too.
So, if Bianco's with me, then he gets the 1 too. Bianco got a 9.
Bianco had what?
9.
So all three of you had, okay. And then Zant had
13.
Oh,
Great.
sure.
And then Mara.
we just wrote it down on cards for you.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, did we do cards? Okay,
Yeah.
that's fine. I can write mine down on a card.
It may not be important. This could get handled really quickly. We'll find
Wow,
out.
going to the top. Oh, here.
Oh boy.
Valiance rolled a 17.
Okay. Oh, 9.
Oh, boy.
13.
Okay, Mara, you are the first person to act as this glowing bead of energy descends down to Valiance's feet in the middle of the Hammerlock Gardens and begins pulsing brighter and brighter. I should get some less peaceful music for this. What do you do, Mara?
Gonna hold an action and see what happens to her.
You have to be specific about it, though.
Okay, if she's so okay, if the fire starts, I'm gonna use control weather to put a rain cloud above her and put out the fire.
Okay. So for the time being, you're doing nothing, right?
So, control weather takes 10 minutes to cast.
Yeah. You don't want to do that. It takes 10 minutes.
That's a long time.
Mm-hmm.
Or you want to start doing it now.
Okay. Then I'll start doing it now.
Okay.
A little rain won't hurt her garden anyway.
That's true.
Poor garden.
Valiance, on her turn, acting next. Boy, what can she do? Yeah, sure. It's the only thing she can do. She reaches down to the glowing bead and attempts to grab it.
Oh my god. What are you doing, Mother?
And we'll make a dexterity saving
Oh no.
throw.
Oh
What is
no.
her DC?
Oh no.
She passes.
Oh no.
She picks up this bead off of the ground and is holding it, and then looks to the group of you and says, "All right, now what?"
Oh no.
Well, what is it? Is it just a fireball, or is it a...
Harmony, you're up.
Oh, wait, can I... We have the same initiative.
Okay.
I was going to counterspell it.
It's too
Can you
late
do
to
that?
counter.
Yeah, it's too late.
Okay.
But I'm going to use Wish to cast Dispel Magic
Okay,
at as highest level as I can. I think 8th level.
sure. In which case, as you cast your spell, the ball of fiery magic in her hand fizzles out of existence.
Oh, boy.
But check the wild magic.
It does not go off.
Thank you, Harmony. Means a lot.
That would have been...
I've set fire to this garden once. I don't need to do it again.
Well, it's a good thing the group of you were around. And that thing seems to have been destroyed. So, two good things.
For now, and hopefully forever.
Another unseen
This is a
complication.
result I've never gotten before, so.
Well, the curse may have been lifted from it.
If that's the case, then I very much appreciate your efforts.
It might be hard to tell for sure until tomorrow, but
Yeah, we'll see if
think-
it comes back.
I
But
think it's a good sign.
in any case, it kind of latched onto me, so you would have been free anyway. But which brings me to my other topic of conversation for the night. Looking nervously at my mom.
Valiance just sort of casually takes a seat now that this has been resolved. Crosses her legs and then looks to Harmony to speak.
So I talked to Cial this week.
Oh.
They are opening a door on the Drowning Kiss so that we can visit their shop in Sigil. So we can do some shopping for some magic items. And while we're there in Sigil, we can do some sightseeing and maybe, get some papers that'll let us cross to the Nine Hills. How's that sound, everyone? Who wants to take a trip to Sigil?
Elaborate on these papers, please.
Yeah, they're like, when you cross the border into another country and you need papers, it's that kind of thing. I don't really know much about it, but Malik was telling me that we'd need papers and we'd either have to get some forged or get some real ones or something.
Did you tell your mother about Moloch?
No.
She says, who's Moloch?
My friend?
Can we trust this friend?
Yeah.
She looks at Thaddeus.
Thaddeus looks at Harmony, because like the last time Moloch came up in conversation between us, you were going to try and reform him. And so he's
he
like,
also
well,
delivered the Raven Queen's memory to Radiance for us.
yeah, but
If you
that's
remember.
not the full extent of what Thaddeus wanted Harmony to do.
I know, but I'm saying it was like brownie points. He should have earned brownie points for that.
Yeah, in 5 years, probably a few more.
Probably too
Malik,
many brownies.
You might want to make yourself visible now.
And with the proof of sulfurous smoke, he does appear on your shoulder. Valiance sits back in her chair, shocked for a moment before leaning forward and saying, "Oh, that makes sense. Seems as if we can trust that information then."
Yes. It's kind of a long story. I'll tell you sometime. But anyway, Moloch has been we've been talking about how to get to the Nine Hells and because he also has a stake in this. And do you want to tell them what you told me, Moloch, about the papers?
Well, all right, but I mean, like, how much of it?
Just the part where we have to go to Sigil and get the papers and
Oh, okay,
charter
right.
a boat, maybe.
So, look, the Nine Hells is, well, you see, the Outer Planes, they're aligned along a spectrum of morality and law and chaos.
Yes, everyone knows that.
Of course. The Nine Hells itself is one of law and evil. He does little air quotes.
By the way, he's very tubby right
Yeah,
now.
he is a little chubbier
He's
than
a
last
little
year.
chubbier.
His brownie points were actually physical brownies.
And he goes on and says, well, the law part kicks in here. You can travel the plane just fine, getting by on pure brute force and all of that, but there are ways to bypass certain conflicts you might encounter, assuming you have the right paperwork. There's only a few places in the multiverse where you can get said paperwork outside of the Hells itself. Sigil, the very center of the multiverse itself, being one of those. Which is why my recommendation to my boss over here was that we stop by the cage, pick up some papers, and then be on our merry way.
Whose cage?
Sigil, the cage.
Oh.
One and the same.
Oh.
Gosh,
Alternatively,
everyone knows that, Fatty.
some people call it the bird cage. It has a lot of names.
So anyway,
I send Harmony a message. I don't remember who was here for this, but I'm like, didn't you have like a lawyer devil friend that might be able to help us with this too? When we were in the Shadowfell?
yes and maybe.
And then, there's something else I was going to mention, but yeah, let me think about it. I
I don't remember who. Was it just you and me?
It was just you two.
Yeah, that's why I'm like,
yeah.
We
He
were
doesn't
doing-
know about
we
that.
were
exactly,
doing
so that's why I sent a message.
yeah. Thank
Yeah.
you, thank
Mara
you.
was looting the castle,
Yes.
and Thaddeus was...
helping
Falling
her.
in a pit.
I was helping her.
Oh, yeah, you
yeah.
two did
Yeah.
fall in a pit. I
Yeah.
remember.
Yeah. So I'll message back and say, yes, not sure he can help with this, but he might be able to help us down there.
The second message is also, I bet, what's his face from the Divine Order of whatever is there? The guy, what's his
Oh,
the,
Mike Jensen from
Mike
the
Jensen.
Interplanar Risk Analysis?
Yes, I bet he is also there too.
If Sigil is, as Moloch says, the center of the multiverse, it is possible that the Bureau of Interplanar Risk Analysis has a division within Sigil.
Yeah.
You think your picture's posted everywhere?
So I send those two messages
How
to
does
Harmony.
it feel?
If we run into law enforcement, I have seeming.
Okay.
It'll be fine. Probably.
Head
Anyway,
tilts, but
so-
yeah, okay.
Our first order of business is to get to the Drowning Kiss, go through the cabinet door, go to Sigil, meet Cial, do some shopping. Then, maybe Cial knows a bit about where we can get paperwork. We'll figure it out once we get there. I mean, you know.
Seems like good agenda items.
I approve.
And then Valiant speaks up and says, "So we go to Sigil, we get these papers. Then what? How do we get to the Hells?"
We have to take a little boat ride down the river Styx.
A boat ride down the River Styx.
Yes.
And you have a boat that can sail the River Styx?
No. We have a boat that could potentially sail the river Styx, but it would need some adjustments.
Hyper modification.
Or we could charter one.
I'm for that.
Moloch chimes in and says, "Yeah, that's true. You could charter one. It just might, cost you one thing or another. There are ferrymen of the River Styx that tend to deal in passage down it. They can."
Are we both thinking,
Yes,
both
we
like
are both
one
thinking the
thing
same-
or another?
Yes. What is the cost of one thing or another, Molly?
It depends
A
on the
little
ferryman
vague.
you're going to ask. Certain ferrymen will
Can you
ask
give
for
us
different
a
things.
spectrum here?
Anything from trinkets to your very soul. You never know what you're going to get with the ferryman. But usually, whatever the cost is, it can be abated by providing your own ship.
I don't like this idea. I'm not comfortable with this idea.
Feels impossible anyway. I don't know how we would.
Well, I don't know how we'd get the ship to
That's what I mean.
Sigil in the first place unless we were able to.
Does Sigil have lakes?
There are ships that are known to be
We could buy
able
one
to
there.
sail the River
Yeah.
Styx. There's no ports for them within Sigil itself, being a enclosed location.
We might be able to inquire about where to buy one.
Well, so getting from Sigil to this river, what's that process?
The one thing I will say right here, while this boat is being discussed, is Mara. Please make a history check at advantage. Because boats are your thing.
The history is not.
Oh, there you go.
14.
14?
-1.
Oh, -1.
Um,
Fantastic. I love it.
there are legends about boats, mysterious ghost ships that sort of fade in and out of history, that have the capability of sailing down the River Styx, or at least jumping from one plane to another. Maybe not with the 14. You might not know if one could sail down the River Styx, but at least you know about vessels, legendary vessels that are capable of hopping from one place within one plane within the multiverse to another. It is a thing that exists, at least in legend of this world.
Okay. So if I know of the legend, would I know a person that I could go to for advice on how to hire one?
Roll for crime.
Your crime contacts aren't the best right now. The main source for all of your sea legends and things like that was your grandfather.
Yeah, he's gone.
I thought you sent him a sending thing at one point. He responded, didn't he?
Well, we battled him underwater, remember? Tried to.
We chased after him.
We chased after
We
the
didn't
boat.
battle.
We didn't
Yeah,
battle.
We didn't fight him.
We didn't fight him, but
We may
we
need to
went.
recover him.
Yeah. So maybe we go to Sigil, get information and paperwork, and then we find our vessel. So we come back here.
Plans coming together?
Yeah, we could do that too.
Well, I mean, maybe we should just reassess when we finish or when we're working on things in Sigil and to see where we're at. Maybe there's other options.
We'll
or
see what information
other
we can get
resources,
when we
yeah.
get there.
So.
I don't know much about what goes on there.
I've been there once. It was really crazy. Didn't like the shop though.
Mm.
Oh, speaking of which, Ciel also said to kind of come prepared for anything when we come.
I feel like we generally are.
Yeah.
I think so too, but it was worth mentioning because
Good for anything.
they, I know that they kind of had to go through a lot of trouble to get the key last time, and who knows what kind of deals they had to make this time.
I mean, between the four of us, we've seen some things.
That's true, but between the four of us, only one of us has been to Sigil before.
Mm. I'm not impressed.
We'll see.
I'm not. I just mean that, you know, we're used to things on this plane, not
Sure.
necessarily other planes.
Valiance cuts in and says, "It sounds like there are some plans in place now. I like the sounds of what I'm hearing. When do we depart?"
Well, we could go to Sigil tomorrow. If that's, I mean, are you done with your stuff in the city?
Tomorrow is the day of Lucavis's funeral.
Oh, yeah.
So, the day after tomorrow?
Day after tomorrow seems good.
Perfect. Then I will be back here bright and early on the day after tomorrow. And Valiant stands up and walks
I
away.
stand up when she does and just wait until she leaves and then slouch.
Okay.
You alright?
Yeah.
Well, I think our research paid off. I think we have some good leads.
Well, this is exciting. We're going on another adventure together. It's been like 5 years.
It's ironic that your mother is coming with us on a trip to find another mother. How many mothers does one need in her life?
I mean, I could do without either of them, to be honest.
With that, I think the group of you kind of maybe chit-chat a little while longer about your plans, go back and forth a little bit on a few options before settling in for the night. And Thaddeus, it's sort of a fitful night's sleep for you because of what you have waiting for you in the morning. Before going to bed, Astrid comes and just sort of has a little chat with you. There's nothing eventful on her mind or anything like that, but she just sort of wants to spend time with you, and you can tell that she's sort of feeling a little bit of the sadness that comes with the event that takes place tomorrow. But she finds solace in your company, and so she seeks that out.
Like, I'm trying to figure out if this is your time to say that, like, I'm gonna have to leave right after the funeral.
Yeah, I mean, do you mention it?
Yeah, I might as well just be upfront with it.
Well, I mean, to be honest, I'm not going to be sticking around much longer. I need to get back to the Stonewell province to help Aiden with the refugees. I've been away from him for long enough. I think it's time I got back. You know, he manages the territory well on his own, but it helps him when I can be there to, you know, get people to where they need to be.
I'm proud of you. I think you're doing good work there.
I think so too, and it feels good to have something that I want to do, you know? I look forward to doing my work, and I've never had that before. I've always jumped from one thing to another, getting bored easily, but this holds my attention.
I'm glad.
It's partially because of this, well, she sort of blushes a little bit. She says, if I'm honest, it's because of how much I look up to you and the things that I've seen that you do. It just, you inspire me. That's all.
What would you say? What would you say if you knew that for all my good works, my reward would be to go to hell?
Her eyebrows go straight up and she says, what? Maybe that's the end of that scene. It's really to explain her actual plans there. Eventually, night's rest takes you. Astrid leaves your room and goes to find her way to her own room. And you fall asleep on the night before your father's funeral. And you find yourself in that dreamlike-like state that you've been in before, where you're dreaming, but you're very conscious that it's more than a dream. It is something special. And you awaken in a dark forest where the only light that can be seen is filtering through the boughs of trees high above, sort of unnaturally tall trees. And you can see, as you look up, you see the waxing gibbous moon hanging in a starless sky. A soft wind blows through the woods, and it rustles the leaves. That sort of further serves to accentuate the utter silence that had precluded the rustling. And then, when the wind subsides moments later, you become acutely aware that you're not alone in the forest. And you sort of whip around looking for any signs of whoever it is that you're sensing, but there's no one to be seen. And that's when you hear a voice. A disembodied female voice that rings with beauty, clarity, and strength. And it just says, "My child, you've been my tool for judgment for so long, and I have need of you again. I require a service, one that I could not ask of any but my greatest champion. You're the only one I can beseech, Thaddeus."
What must be done?
I think you've already uncovered the truth of what must be done.
Zarya?
Yes. She was once a great servant of mine, but she has fallen. She's not what she once was. By all rights now, she is a devil. And she has great power within the Nine Hells. She accepted a bargain from the Lord of the Hells himself, and now she rules an entire lair. It will not be easy, but you must reclaim my sword.
Well, you've given me a piece of good news, which is that she's not in the abyss.
You say that, and there's just sort of silence as more wind rustles through the leaves. Before the voice once again rings in your ears and just says, "There's no one else who can do this for me. It has to be you."
It'll be done.
And with that, you look up into the sky as the voice falls silent, and you see the waxing gibbous moon becoming a full moon, just sort of the light spreading across the dark night sky, and shadow opening up in the moon as dark tendrils of inky blackness spill forth from that gaping hole in the center of it. And that is where we'll end tonight's session.
Oh boy!
Oh man.
We've got some big things ahead of us.
Yeah.
The agenda's getting full again.
Yeah.
I like it.
Thank you guys for playing. Thank you to anyone who stuck around and watched. We've got so much more exciting stuff coming up, so we hope to see you again soon. That's it. Have a good evening. We'll see you next time. Bye!
Bye.
Bye.
Yeah.
Good night.